November. It was all right. It was fine.
I was reasonably happy with it.
There's nothing wrong with it.
I mean, I had a holiday, so I can't grumble.
Yeah, I think so did I.
Yeah.
We weren't really here for much of that. All right, well,
Yeah.
let's go over it. Because it did start off kind of fun, which is this story broke a while back, of course, which is the diversity in London decided it was their time of year to have their Christmas. And as a result, white people had to be locked up for saying they didn't like it. And I'm not really exaggerating when I say that. So if people don't remember, this is a story in which an English guy filmed the fact that his street had been covered in Palestinian flags. And obviously, not being Palestinian or Israeli didn't give a crap and just called it the word
Yes.
S.
And this is the one where he made, I mean, it was a very, very milquetoast video.
Yeah.
Where he basically just said, why is my street covered in Palestinian flags?
So the police came around.
Disgusting.
And arrested him. Because, of course, he ended up spending, I think, the next 24 hours in jail. Because I remember Tommy covering the story, just being like, the dude is still in jail. We're in contact with the family. We're trying to get him out. And then he got let out. And I don't know what the end result was, if he ended up getting sent to court with a communication offense. But there we are. Hate speech is literally saying you disagree with the current thing now.
This is the thing that I'm reminded of. No matter how much you despise British police, you do not despise them enough.
I mean, they really just don't understand when to not bother. But then again, I mean, it is the Met Police. I mean, the diversity police.
Yes.
The people who actually think it is good and just that they lock you up for having the wrong thought. That's actually what their training entails.
Hi folks, sorry to interrupt the video, but I just wanted to announce that we have a new line of merch in our merch store. The merch store was kind of empty for a while, and so I thought, right, okay, what do I actually want on shirts? And so I just went through some of the most epic and true things that I think that historical people have said, and John managed to make an amazing set of merch out of it. And we will have extra things coming in the store, such as posters for these to go on. Thanks for everything, folks. Now back to the video.
Yes.
I mean, a friend of mine, he used to be a police officer. He sent me some notes. He was like, bro, you need to find out this website because it has all of the police misconduct. I mean, obviously, there's a police officer who committed, fraud. So then they can't be a police officer anymore, obviously.
Right.
Or there's a police officer who went a bit bloody mental and got in a punch up at the pub. So he's been disciplined or something. And then you'll find in there notes where it's like Officer A sent sexist text messages in 2016. And since discovering it, he has been placed on unpaid leave until we can investigate the matter further. And it's just like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Someone 7 years ago sent a sexist meme. And that's the internal discussion that the police in London have with themselves. So, I mean, sincerely, they actually do love their jobs. It's not a bug, it's a feature that they do this to people. So there we are.
What can I say?
Well, everyone kind of being a bit pissed off about this and a few other facts of, diversity Christmas not being really for us. There was a moment in which Big Baz and all his boys went down to the Zenitaph. You remember
yes.
Tommy organised that.
Yes.
Net result was not much.
So I tried to give a bit of a warning on this one because, I mean, basically to your prior point, you have to appreciate that the police, the judiciary, and the media and the politicians, basically the entire establishment, if you hate your country, they will bend over backwards for you. If you love your country, they will brand you as a right-wing hooligan and attempt to destroy you.
Well, they want you in prison, shut up, or dead.
Yes.
Neither of...
And this was basically people upset about, all of those, hardcore right-wing issues, like not defacing the cenotaph and potentially, and then this one is quite a hardcore right-wing position, not having refugees rape children, that sort of stuff. And so there was going to be a protest. My warning was basically, you do realize that the police the police and the media will do everything in their power to make you look bad. And even if you behave yourself, at some point they will just randomly attack and start arresting people.
So what ended up happening is that Tommy did turn up, paid his respects, and then left because that's what he said he was going to do.
Yes.
Most of the people there did exactly the same.
Yes.
There was just one route to the Zenitaph, which the police decided no one was going to walk through, which was by the front of the Ministry of Defense. It's literally just a pathway. And it's open every other day of the year,
I walked down that
every
one.
hour. For some reason, they just decided this one's closed now. So obviously a bunch of the lads who were there were just like, what the hell? And a small scuffle broke out. And that was basically it.
Right.
And of course, that small scuffle became the story for the mainstream media because that's what they were going to do.
Yep.
Not a surprise. I mean,
I mean, that was probably planned as well.
Local scorpion stabs frog. It's
Yes.
it's not really shot.
Yeah.
But
You always have to be careful with these things because
but I don't know. I don't know what really was going to happen otherwise. I mean, just nothing happened in my opinion. There was no real effect.
yeah, but I mean,
Well-
for example, January 6th was an entirely legitimate process, and it has been turned into the Reichstag fire, and almost certainly the rest of the Western world is thinking, okay, can we have one of those too? Because
that-
it'd be very convenient.
But that's the thing. My personal opinion on this has become that London deserves London, and just
Yes,
let
well-
it burn, let it burn, let it burn.
Well, that's why I got out.
Yeah, I mean, if they
Yeah.
want to burn down their own city, go for it. I literally
Yes.
do not have any attachment to that place anymore whatsoever.
Yes.
But anyway, as you mentioned, mass deportations became a normal thing to talk about as a
Mm.
result. Now, that was the real positive of everything that happened in London, which is you look at London and then think, my God, what if we could remove that city from England? And that's good that people recognize that
Mm.
a high crime, highly disorganized, low trust society is bad.
Yes, if we could build a wall around London, that would be quite good.
So, I mean, that's positive.
Yes.
There's some consciousness raising there.
Yes.
Consciousness is important to actually understand where the problems are. So that was good news.
Yes.
And then the Conservative Party, watching the British public raise their consciousness on the fact that maybe multiculturalism is a complete lie to destroy the country,
Hmm.
if not just ignorance, then it's that.
Right.
Well, they decided they'd blow themselves up. One of their members said, "This is bad. Maybe we shouldn't do it." So they fired her.
Yes. So right, I was on holiday trekking through jungles when this came out. So I missed this story entirely. So but my understanding was that Suella Braverman gave me the impression because I know the routine because it's been the case throughout the entire Tory government. Every 18 months, what you do is you change the Home Secretary, or the Home Secretary comes up with a new plan.
And you tell everyone, "Oh, this will be the time."
Yes, it's like Charlie Brown and the Ball, and then you say, "Oh, we're definitely going to do it this time," and then they don't do it, and either the plan gets dropped or the Home Secretary gets fired, which is normally what happens.
Well, she got fired for saying the people shouting "Death to the Jews." She said that was a hate march, and those specific comments were the focus of the media campaign to get rid of her. And then because the media said
Really?
something retarded, the Prime Minister agreed with the media.
He is so utterly biddable.
I still can't get over this. I mean, we mentioned this the other day that I still don't really understand. The dude cooed the government to do nothing.
I mean, he is as biddable as a semi-trained puppy. I mean, you basically just click your fingers if you are a corporate interest, and he just sort of jumps up and down, wagging his tail.
Yeah, but I find it hilarious that Suella over here did the most basic B thing of a Western politician to
Yes.
be like, "Hey, maybe Jews shouldn't live in fear of calls of genocide
Yes.
in our capital city," and can't even do that. Can't even do that. You've got to go, lady.
Yes. I mean, maybe she actually believed that immigration should be lowered, and when they after she'd been in the job for a while, they thought, "Oh my God, she actually believes the thing that she's saying. We cannot have this in the Tory party."
Maybe. The cool thing out of all of it was that she did issue a statement afterwards, and usually politician statements are utterly boring and worthless and not
Yes.
relevant. But what was good about hers is she didn't focus on any of the hopes and aspirations she had for the country or any of the bollocks. She just wrote a letter being like, "You're an illegitimate leader who cooed the government,"
Right.
which is obviously
All
true.
right. I'm going to have to go back and watch this one then.
Yeah, so I mean, that's really something that actually is really important and it's just kind of been glossed over. That, yeah, we do have a literally illegitimate leader who cooed the state.
Yes.
And funnier of all things, he did it to do nothing. I mean,
Yes,
this is
this is always your point. He cooed the government for no reason whatsoever.
Liz Truss promised a tax cut, so he was like, whoa, coup the government. All right,
Yes.
what am I going to do now? I've cooed the government. Nothing.
Yes.
So,
I'm just going to sit here with my foot on the accelerator, heading off this cliff.
well, I suppose because after he's done, he's just going to move to America with his 60
Yes.
million. So who cares? Or he'll go to India.
Well, and his billionaire wife. So I mean, he's going to be okay.
Yeah, he's got 2 other places to go and live.
Yes.
So
The rest
for
of us
him.
don't. Yes.
anyway, it turned out all of those problems that she was referring to and everyone was kind of pissed about can be fixed immediately. We found out in San Francisco in November because, of course,
yes.
San Francisco being hell. While Xi Jinping was visiting, the leader of China, so they fixed it up for his visit and put up Chinese flags all over the streets he was visiting, not American flags. Because it turns out, literally, any of the problems we have in society, of course, in a other time, the politicians could just fix them. And, sometimes they did back in the day.
So San Francisco has been going down the drain for a good 10 years, if not more. And throughout that time, you've had people like Gavin Newsom saying, these are systemic, they can't be fixed. There's nothing that we can do about it. And the leader of the free world turns up, and it's just gone.
I love China, the leader of the free world.
Well, I mean, who else gets to make that claim?
Yeah, okay. But I love that you're right on the money there, which is that as soon as it affected them, which is literally just our reputation with the Chinese.
Yeah, we don't want to look bad in front of Pooh Bear.
And everyone else having to live in literal piles of human feces. Well, it wasn't Gavin Newsom's who had to do that, so he didn't care. Yeah. But this is the problem. These people are so disconnected from the rest of us because of globalization. They can literally just move to another country or across the state, such as Gavin Newsom's dad. You want to guess where he moved?
Florida?
Yes.
Right. That was a good guess, wasn't it?
I'm not even joking. I mean, we had that.
Yeah.
For some reason. Didn't want to live where his own son's running the bloody place. Yeah. It's because they can just leave.
I mean, this is the point. It's like, as we found out with lockdowns, if politicians want to do something, they actually can do it, and immediately and with significant force.
But also, if we want them to actually be forced to improve where we live as well, they have to kind of be forced to live with us for the rest of their time.
Yes.
But I don't know how we're going to force
that. Or at least we need to persuade the Chinese leader to come for a visit.
Yeah. All politicians will live in the most deprived areas of England once they're out of office. We'll forcibly relocate them.
Yes.
To inner city Birmingham.
Yes, I like it.
Anyway, but that wasn't the only thing. There was a fun bitch fight. Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro.
Ah, right. So this is the one video that I managed to find in the jungle a bit of Wi-Fi, and this is the one video I watched. Actually, this was fun. This one,
in which Ben Shapiro and it's obviously pro-Israel.
Yes,
and it's got a lot of ethnic consciousness there. And Candace Owens came out with the position that I only care about America, and if I was a white man, why would I care about Israel? I would care about white Americans on an ethnic basis.
Yep.
That caused a bit of friction, and that's not really resolved yet. So we're in December.
She's still there, is she?
As I understand it, yeah. He's not getting rid of her, obviously.
Yeah.
So there's the kind of intersection of what do you care about, and of course, Ben, for understandable reasons, has far more to care about in Israel than Candace does.
Yes,
but then
he has been getting a bit unhinged. I mean, it's fine to be pro-Israel if that's your position. That's fine, but he's kind of taken the view that Israel could do no wrong no matter what it does, and to even suggest the possibility that it could do wrong is basically a sackable offense.
I don't even care about that. I mean, the problem was just you must care about Israel. Neutrality on the issue isn't acceptable. It's like, yeah, but I've got so many problems in my own backyard, man.
Yes,
I got my own effing problems. I'm busy.
Yes.
So
the Chinese leader has left, and my city is falling apart again.
So we'll see where that goes, I guess. But they're still button heads. But the real excitement of November was Bin Laden came back. Yeah, he became the TikTok leader of the free world from the grave. Well, I suppose the deep dark sea, where he's gone. Which was funny. Which was a load of Zoomers found Bin Laden's message to Americans and his explanation for why he did 9/11. And they went, oh, bro, he's so smart, bro, because he didn't write it in emojis. He wrote in full sentences. That's all that's good about that letter. It's not convincing. It's not very well argued. It is entirely a threat if you actually read it beyond the first paragraph.
Right.
He just writes, unless you become Islamist, we will kill you all, essentially.
Right.
It's like, and Zoomers were like, man, he wrote in whole sentences. The guy was so smart. I was like, you okay, right. That's
so we now
painful to this.
And we have a Zoomer Bin Laden animated by AI explaining this.
Yeah, basically. Well, what was kind of cool about it is that obviously there's much bigger powers that be caring about much bigger issues. And one of the issues with TikTok is that they've been in hot water because they keep banning pro-Israel accounts. So this issue here of all of a sudden TikTok was promoting Bin Laden, they weren't. The Zoomers just found it on their own course and it became popular. And that was very quickly being used to, we need to shut down TikTok in the United States. And just like within a day of that narrative turning up, TikTok actually took action and removed everything to do with Bin Laden.
Yeah.
That's the real level of fear there. But anyway, that was funny.
Yes.
There were some good wins. Libertarians.
Oh, yes.
Argentina,
Yes.
good win.
I did a Brokenomics on Argentina. It has been dire for many, many years. And it started off really quite based, actually, originally. Argentina, as in Arge, the bit. I mean, it started off as a silver-backed currency system. It was incredibly prosperous. And then they suddenly realized, oh, instead of using silver, we can just use paper money instead. And almost immediately collapsed and has been suffering ever since. Yes. Yes, they just...
Money printer go brrr.
Yes, they just kind of destroyed themselves as soon as they found paper money.
But anyway, now this lunatic's in charge. He's done a pretty good job.
Yes.
So from what I've seen, he actually has carried out his demands, which is a women's department. No. And just got rid of it. Which, good job. And, well, I should say we're recording this at the 6th of December. If by the time this comes out, he's massacred half the population.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it was...
We might want to put a note on the video.
But I don't think he will. I think he'll just keep doing the normal things, which is, maybe I'll get rid of the stupid government department.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that was $1 billion saved.
Or the CIA will take him out. I don't know.
Nah. Dude loves America too much. But anyway, it wasn't the only win. The Dutch, they won.
Oh, yes.
They're now in government, I think. I think a coalition.
Did he win, or did he get, like, however many, like...
Well, Geert Wilders became the
third
largest
seat?
party leader
Yes.
with his party there, who are cool. And then my understanding is there was a bunch of coalition talks, and it was expected he would still be out of government. But then I've heard rumors that he's going to work out. We're all going to make it, boys.
And he's got that farmers' party as well to presumably back him up.
Yeah, I don't know where they're at these days. But there's the thing. I mean, none of us really pay attention to Dutch politics, which is weird considering how close it is, I guess.
Yes.
But then you look over and you're like, what are they doing? Oh, well, their far right took over the country. Oh, that's pretty impressive.
Yes.
So there's that.
Yes, high hopes for them that they can lead the way on this.
But that was us looking to the south. And then if we go for the weather forecast, if we look to the west,
Yeah.
well, there's a bus on fire, we suddenly found out. A local bus in Dublin was burnt down. And again, I'm sorry to tell everyone that bad news, but it really did happen. It is the worst thing to ever happen in Ireland.
Just out of the blue, a bus burns down.
Yeah.
Right. Far right, presumably.
There were rumors spread that the bus deserved it.
Right.
It's still incoherent, of course. For the 5 people who don't know, a foreigner decided to stab a bunch of kids who should have been deported 20 years ago. So, of course, people were a bit peeved. And so they burnt down a bus as well as protesting.
Yeah.
And the response of that was funny, which is to end off November, which is the Irish government doubled down on their position that the real victim was the bus, not the kids. And then they tripled down, saying that anyone who says anything is wrong, we're going to send you to jail under our new hate speech law. Which is a hell of a way to end a month.
Yes.
There we are. There's the weather forecast, which is, far right in the south, and to the west, more far right probably growing.
I quite like the way that, sometimes weird countries just become the focal point of pushback, like Canada did with the truckers' protest at the end of the the deadly virus thing that was going to kill us all. And it's like, who thought that they were going to be the ones who basically led us out of it? Is it possible that Holland or Ireland are going to be the ones who are like, no, stop this nonsense?
Well, I'm really excited that Ireland, because of the level of ethnic consciousness they have, the state is literally based on that ethnic consciousness. It's an ethno-state for the Irish against the English.
Yes.
The whole reason it exists. If you listen to various Gaelic songs about the Civil War or the Easter Uprising, the lyrics are literally, we went out and killed the foreigners, and the foreigners being the English.
What was the literal translation of Sinn Féin, for example?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it's we ourselves, we govern ourselves, essentially.
Yes.
The Celts for the Celtic nation, which is a bit difficult.
And their entire policy, I mean, that woman who you showed just now, I mean, is basically saying we need to be foreignized as fast as possible.
So I think that there is a battleground for a nation which has speedrun the whole multiculturalism concept because it worked out so well in every other European nation.
Yes.
It is Ireland. They because of their small population and massive amounts of immigration, the proportions are mental, even compared to us. And combine that with the fact that it's literally an ethno-state, not a monarchy, not a constitutional republic, not any of that. Literally, it's just an ethno-state. That's the only reason it exists. It will be, I think, the battleground to decide whether or not this, globalist movement can be utterly destroyed in the political realm. If you appreciated that episode from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go over to the merch store and check out things like the being born in a stable does not make one a horse mug. And if you'd like to find out what else is being put out, you can follow on Twitter at LotusEaters_com on Twitter. Thank you and goodbye.